Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 26 of Matt and John Make a Podcast. We have much to discuss this week. We will discuss, and we kind of touched on this on the reaction show from the Rumble, but we're going to be discussing more in depth about the Kobe Bryant death and everything that went on with that. We also there's a really big game this Sunday. I'm not sure if you guys have heard or not, but it's the Super Bowl, and
I was not aware.
yeah, and
What?
and we also have some small baseball news, and just me more so given my reaction to the Bellator card. Chris Cyborg had a very impressive victory. I'll touch on that. Then we will get into the wrestling talk, AEW, NXT, and some other potential WrestleMania news as well. But Matt, I think we should begin this week with the obvious biggest story of the sports world, and that was the unfortunate death of Kobe Bryant. Kobe was one of like 9 victims in a helicopter accident, which sadly also took his 13-year-old daughter's life as well. I mean, I'd be lying to say that this wasn't kind of shocking or devastating. Honestly, for like the first few days, it didn't really feel that it was actually real. You just felt like it was just some like horrible nightmare. But I mean, like, just the coverage and just everything that was just going on with it. It was just, I had never really experienced, I think, anything quite like this before. Just a sports icon, for me anyways, because I mean, when I was first watching the NBA, which was around the 99 and 2000 season, the first 2 players who I gravitated towards was Shaq and Kobe Bryant. Like, when they were on their dominant run, with the Lakers winning 3 titles, it was just, I mean, that really hit home for me. And like, just everything that Kobe has like done post career, like he won a like freaking Oscar for crying out loud, was really involved with his daughter Gigi's life. They were at so many basketball games and everything, and like one of the most lasting impressions is going to be of them. I believe that they were at the Brooklyn Nets game, where they're talking to each other about like basketball and everything, and like I can't tell you how many times that I've seen like GIF on Twitter. It's been like used everywhere. I mean, it's just it's a really sentimental moment, and like I mean, it's going to be tough for everyone. I mean the NBA. I mean it clearly affected everybody. Like you're even seeing guys unofficially retire Kobe's number, because everyone who has had either 8 or 24, they are requesting new numbers. So like that just shows you just the love and the respect that Kobe had. So I mean, it's sad. I don't know really what else to say about that. Matt, when you first heard this, what was your reaction?
I was at, I believe, when did it go down? Beginning of the week?
Yeah, it was Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. I was doing I was at high school I work at, and I had to be there for something, and I wasn't I'm a sponsor for something, as an event, and I just had to be there. I'm an adult in the room, and I'm kind of just sitting there minding my own business, kind of scoring through Twitter and checking other things out on internet, just on my phone. And I get on Twitter, and I see something about somebody said, I hope this Kobe Bryant news is not real. Okay. Interest peaked.
Mm-hmm.
And continue to scroll through more and refresh, and saw the TMC article that he apparently died in a helicopter accident. And it kind of...
It didn't feel real, did it?
Yeah, it was
weird.
Yes. It was like, wait, what?
Well, into another thing, I mean, like, the god-awful information that was given out, more specifically from ABC, because I'm not sure if you recall this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they falsely reported that all 4 of Kobe's daughters were in that helicopter, where it turned out it was only Gigi who was in that helicopter. And I believe that ABC actually suspended that guy. But
he even said it on the air that he reported it wrong. I remember seeing it on TV. I was watching.
I mean, like, I get it that people want to be like first on stories, but like, can you like be 100% sure about that? Like, you're like, how many? I mean, like, how badly would that have just frightened his family? They're already devastated knowing that at least Kobe
I
is
feel like
gone.
at that time they probably knew the right answer, but
yeah, but still, it's just
still,
like,
if you're gonna do that, I would preface it saying by, there are reports that this is working to confirm. This is not 100% confirmed yet, working to confirm. At least do that. Don't say
exactly.
I don't know if I can't remember if reports said it's this. I don't know. I think it's a better way to do it. But anyway, so I mean, I found that out, and I think I verbally went out loud and said, "Holy!"
Yep.
And a student here goes, laughed and went, "What?" And I went, Kobe Bryant? Yeah, he died apparently in a helicopter accident. And I can't remember their reaction. But for me personally, I have never really watched the NBA as I don't want to say religiously as you, but you obviously have watched more and know more than me. So I'm not emotionally invested in the NBA,
right.
but like pretty much majority of people, everybody pretty much knew who Kobe Bryant was.
He was a worldwide figure. Like you were seeing tributes over in Spain and Italy. I mean, he was what Michael Jordan was is essentially what Kobe was. Like, he was
this generation's.
He was our generation's MJ. Like, from a popularity standpoint to a motivation standpoint, and he was such a mentor to so many current NBA guys, and you could just tell it. And what was even more devastating is some guys had to play basketball on that same day, and you could just tell it was incredibly hard.
It was
I mean,
it was weird seeing the videos of the one is popping in my head right now is the one of Tiger Woods finding out.
Yep.
He was coming off the 18th green. They had a tournament he was in.
Yep.
And then his caddy told him, you seem like this is a joke.
Yeah.
You serious?
Yeah.
So he's one of an athlete that transcends his sport.
Yep, absolutely.
This has I feel like a similar feeling if this happened back when Clemente died. I feel like
very similar. It's
this
very
would
similar.
Probably be the same type of reaction around the sport, because Clemente was just an all-around one of the all-time greats to ever play the game of baseball. Same thing with Kobe in the NBA.
And too, with Kobe, you can make the argument he's one of the top 10 best players of all time, dying at the age of 41. And too, like, he was just, I mean, like, outside of basketball, like, his role in charities and, like, and being a, like, motivational speaker. I can't tell you how many videos I've seen him at colleges or helping out families who've been, like, suffering from cancer or whatever. Like, he's just done everything to be just a positive role model, and it's going to hit a lot of people. And it was probably for a good 2 or 3 days, like, you didn't see anything but Kobe coverage, which rightfully so. Like, he, and there's a lot of sadness right now, but this is just a testament to how great of a human being that this man was. And of course, like, there are some idiots out there, Matt. Did you read the story about this one comedian, Ari Shaffir?
Yes.
And that might have been, like, one of the most disrespectful, disgusting things I've seen from someone who just recently died, and now he's complaining about getting death threats and everything. I'm like, you brought that on yourself, like, and it sounds terrible, but I'm trying to find the words to say, but, like, you knew if you said something like that bad, that disrespectful to such a worldwide figure, that there were going to be multiple people very angry at you. And as we know, Matt, like, people are crazy. They are not as level-headed as us. And, like, supposedly his agency canceled or stopped representing him. And I believe he was supposed to do a gig out in, like, New York, and supposedly they canceled him because of the constant death threats. So it's like,
no,
yeah,
no, and
go ahead, man.
Ari from the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yep.
I'm not surprised, because it's obviously he knew what he was doing. I think I know he meant it. He probably wanted a reaction, but I don't think
that's not what you should be doing. Like, and supposedly he was saying, I do this with everyone, which that's like that sounds even worse right there. So I'm like, why not just, like, not say anything, like, especially for such a positive worldwide figure, the amount of things that he has done, and of course everyone brings back his sexual assault thing from, I believe that was from 2005 or 4, somewhere around there, where basically those charges were eventually dropped, and I believe that they settled there. And he was saying that, like, that this was 13 years too late or whatever, and and that he also said that because he hates the Lakers, which, who cares? The guy died. A family lost their father. A family lost a, like, husband. It just have some freaking decency for his family above anything else. But no, he had to say this and generate a reaction. And I mean, for his career, for the short term, I mean, like, good luck. That's all I gotta say. Yeah. And I wanted to add this to have you seen the clip of, like, Shaq talking about Kobe?
Yeah, when they were on the court at Staples Center.
Yeah, that was, like, I've never seen Shaq like that. Like, that felt like a guy losing his father, losing his brother. Like it just like seeing him talk, seeing him Chuck talk, Dwayne Wade, Rick Fox, like you just like you really just forget how easily things can be taken away, how short that life is right now. So I mean, like it definitely hit home, as I have said. So I mean, I think we pretty much covered everything here, Matt. Did you want to add anything else before we move on?
I pretty much said all I wanted to say.
Yeah. So and also I wouldn't before we move on, we would also like to recognize the other 7 victims too. John Altabelli, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. He was supposedly a baseball coach at Orange Coast College. And the other victims include supposedly it was John with his wife and Carrie and his daughter Alyssa. The other victims include Christian Mauser, Sarah Chester, Peyton Chester, and Aria Zubayan. Hopefully I am pronouncing that right. But all the best and thoughts and prayers go out to them and their families. So now let's move on, Matt. We got, as I said at the start of the podcast, a very big game on Sunday. The Super Bowl, it's finally here. It feels like forever since we've had a real game here. So it's the San Francisco 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I am very excited for this game. Hopefully we get a way better game than the last Super Bowl, because
oh my god,
that was, needless to say, it was not a very good game.
That was probably the worst game of boringest game, whatever. Worst football game, professional football game I have watched.
Yeah, probably the last one that was probably one of the worst games was when Seattle just annihilated Denver when Peyton was on his last legs there.
I felt like that was the year before, but it was 2 years. Well, it was 2 years before that, right? What year was?
I want to say
because it was like, I felt like it's like back to back.
I want to say that was like 2013 or 2014, somewhere
that long ago. It felt like it was like back to back.
Yeah, I want to say that
probably.
It was around there. But so this game, my thoughts on this, like, this is a very evenly matched game. And like, you know, and like I've been asked by so many coworkers, like, you know, who's the better team, who's the favorite. I'm like, honestly, it's a pick'em. Like, these are two really evenly matched teams. Like,
just because the spread's only 1.5.
Yeah, so that is essentially what Vegas has deemed this as. So I really don't know who's going to win. It honestly depends how the game goes. Like, if it's going to be a shootout, I give the edge to Kansas City. But if this is a lower scoring game, I give the edge to San Francisco. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out, because I firmly believe, Matt, that as great as Patrick Mahomes is, if they don't have any sort of balance whatsoever, like, they're going to struggle. Like, you cannot ask him to throw 45 or 50 times in this game, because with that ferocious San Francisco front, like, they are a problem. Like this isn't Tennessee and this isn't Houston. Like, this is a really good front for the San Francisco 49ers, and they will get to Patrick Mahomes. The challenge is going to be for San Francisco is, can they keep him in a pocket, because if Patrick rolls right, like all bets are off. Like, he is a magic to say the least. So and as far as San Francisco on the other side of the ball, you know, can Jimmy G make some plays through the air? I mean, so far he's been asked to do extremely little, just because, you know, when you're averaging 5, 6, or 7 yards a carry, like there's really not that much reason to even pass. I mean, he threw 8 passes in the NFC Championship game, so I mean, I'm very intrigued about this matchup and how Kyle Shanahan is going to game plan against that Kansas City defense. I do think that there are a lot of plays to be made against that secondary, and I think if Kansas City gets off to another slow start, like they're going to find it's going to be really difficult to get back into this game, just because they have, I think, a way better quarterback, and Kyle Shanahan just knows how to put together a game plan where it's just he's going to make it very difficult to play against. He's going to make that Kansas City defense defend every inch of that field, which I felt with Tennessee they didn't really do that. Hence why after halftime, like that game felt that it was essentially over, even though they were up by 7 points or tied or whatever. So yeah, Matt, what are you most excited for about this Super Bowl?
Commercials. No.
Commercials.
I'm excited for, because this should be a better game. I'm hoping it's one of those good high scoring ones relative. I'm interested to see, because obviously 49ers have the better defense, but it has a better defense, but Kansas City has, you can say, the more opponent offense.
Yep.
So I feel like something's obviously got to give. Just looking at the stats, I mean, both put up a lot of points, and if this wants to scroll down, thank you very much. They both score about 29, 30 points per game on average.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco only allows 15 points on average, while the Chiefs allow 27.5 on average.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty even at total yards. Passing yards, Kansas City has the edge, but by only about 40 yards. Rushing, the Giants win 144.1 to 98.1. So, I mean, on average, the 49ers, I'm thinking baseball for some reason, as the better run game. Yards allowed, big discrepancy. The San Francisco, 290.5 yards allowed compared to 402 of the Chiefs.
The definition of bend but don't break.
Yeah. Rush yards allowed, 41.5 for San Francisco compared to 89.5 to Kansas City. So
which that could be a very big thing. Like,
yes.
Kansas City, they need to stop that run, because if they cannot stop that complex zone scheme that the San Francisco 49ers run, like they're going to be in for a very long day, because as we saw with the game against the Packers, just a few stops and basically the Packers were completely out of that game. Like, it's like you cannot get down 14 or 21 points against the San Francisco team. Just like they're not going to like crumble like the Texans and what the Titans did. Like they are just too good of a team. So
yep. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be interested with the scores of the game, because of the squares I'm in.
Yep.
Like everybody else is, and
yep.
A little fantasy thing I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big thing. I mean, it keeps it interesting every year.
Yep.
Super Bowl, regardless if it's a crappy one like last year,
mm-hmm.
or what have you. But it should be a good game. I mean, it's always an event. You get the commercials, you got the halftime show, which, I mean, what's it say about music today? When they're throwing it back to the 90s.
Oh, it's going to be a very enjoyable one too.
It's going to be yes. Hips don't lie. Anywho, but that's off topic.
Mm-hmm.
But who's going to win?
I'm leaning towards San Francisco right now.
I was thinking that.
Mm-hmm. I'm leaning towards
if
them.
I make a bet, I'm thinking that.
Mm-hmm.
My only reason is Mahomes was on the cover of Madden, so history is on our side.
Yeah.
He did get hurt. I'm just unsure. Does that count?
Mm-hmm.
But he made it to the Super Bowl, so something's got to happen
Yep.
to even out the curse. Because you don't know who was on the cover last year, and that was Antonio Brown. Not to bring him up, but if that's not the epitome of
no
the curse.
new news with him yet, so
I mean, wait, let me check Twitter. Let me make sure. He could have said something stupid or blah, 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 blah. No, I think we're good.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Anywho, such a toss, like you said, it's such a toss-up.
Yep.
Like, I wouldn't, I might want to put a bet on the San Francisco, just to put it on, just because of that Madden curse.
Right.
But, geez, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah,
just, it feels like it's.
I mean, like, I can't really criticize if you pick either team. It's just
No.
it's so evenly matched. Unlike past years, you kind of had a pretty good feeling on who was going to win, but
Like when the Patriots in there, you're just going to assume Patriots.
I don't know. And it's going to be really fascinating, really fascinating. So
yeah.
So we shall move on from that.
Mm-hmm.
So we did have some baseball news. So the most important news this week was Starling Marte. He got dealt by the Pittsburgh Pirates for some single A prospects, which you should have seen Pirates Twitter. It was, needless to say, a
hot stove.
A hot stove, you could say that.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, which I mean, like, and I know, Matt, that you can't really talk about this.
All I can say
Mm-hmm.
is that it is an obvious sign that
It's a rebuild.
It's a rebuild.
It's a rebuild.
Which I guess they should,
Mm-hmm.
at least for this administration, if you will, this GM and the scouting team and all of his people around him,
Mm-hmm.
To see what they have, because
and like more so, they finally picked a direction that they're going in. Like, no more of this, like, hey, we think that they were going to compete, but we're not going to really compete. Like either go all in or tear it down and just give the fans a good idea of what your plan is. And now we finally have a decent idea now, because from everything that you have heard from national people is like these two guys, while they do have some bust potential, like they seem to be really good guys. And of course people are complaining like, oh, they are the 7th and like 9th ranked guys in Arizona system. Just so that you
top 10.
Yeah, actually they are ranked them 3rd, Matt. I believe they're behind the Padres, and it was the Padres and someone else, but
there's potential with prospects. That's what there are, prospects.
Yeah.
Not everything's going to work out with the Pirates. I mean,
and
there's unfortunate circumstances that happen with the Pirates. It just seems like it doesn't work out.
They desperately need to refuel that farm system like that. Like it was like a big part of it was taken out when they acquired Archer, and just from a combination of guys like Keller, who has come out really slow, and they need some more fresh they need some more fresh guys in there. So this will hopefully help that out. Now I do wonder if this will be a domino effect. Will Adam Frazier get dealt possibly? I mean, will it eventually result in like Josh Bell possibly
I think
getting dealt?
My opinion,
Kayla or something like that, you know?
Yeah, Kala. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be angry at Kala.
No.
I think you try to at least get a piece to build around eventually. I think maybe Josh Bell is that.
Mm-hmm. And I believe
after the first half of the year he had last year,
mm-hmm.
the potential, I think he's still young.
Yep.
Marte was mid-30s, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe he's 32 now.
Right.
31 or 32. So
2 years left.
Right
he'd be
now,
34 when he's done.
Yeah, exactly.
He probably not going to resign him.
No.
If things went on the same way.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to rebuild, I think you pull that trigger on Marte now. You get what you can back.
Right.
Because that deal looks good because there's 2 years of team control
mm-hmm.
for the other team.
Yep.
And then you get potential good players in the return to rebuild that farm system.
Mm-hmm.
I know we don't want to hear it because it seems like we've been rebuilding.
Yep.
But that's the only way
we need to give these guys a chance to implement their system and to make some moves here.
Because it's not going to change overnight. We're not going to come in next year and win 103 games.
It's going to take a good 3 years for this team to be competitive.
And that's the reality of the situation.
That is the reality. And Empire fans are just so unrealistic with their expectations. I'm like, guys, it's a bad team right now. Like, there is a reason why they lost like 95 games last year, give or take. It's just, they have so many holes in so many areas where it's catcher, obviously with the pitching staff, with the bullpen, they need to just completely just tear it down, and if it's going to take dealing like Josh Bell, I'm fine with that because they have a guy at AAA and like Will Craig who could possibly take his spot as well. And I think too, another thing I want them to find out this season is find out what you have in Cole Tucker. I want to see him at short, and I want to see Newman at second base. I think you really need to find out what you have with some of these guys that they have.
Newman was impressive last year.
He was.
He was hitting. I don't know what he finished with, like 300 or something,
which was pretty good because if you recall his previous season, he was horrendous. So,
yes.
So it was definitely a big step for him.
Big step in the right direction. This year it's going to be, like you said, it's going to be what talent do you have? And let's see what you have.
And what
are you going to lose?
And another guy who I want to see if he performs well in spring training, Bryant Hayes at third base. I think you should call him up right away. That was one of the things that I really criticized. The Huntington regime is like they were so slow in calling guys up. I'm like, if he's clearly the best guy that you got, call him up. Like that, like this whole Super 2 thing just continues just to irritate me. So that was pretty much our little segment with the Pirates there. But some other news too, Matt. The Houston Astros, they have a brand new manager. Dusty Baker is back on the bench for another Major League Baseball franchise. So Dusty Baker signs a 2-year deal with the Astros, and
that's a fun look.
Yeah, and I believe he's 70 years old now. I'm like,
he looks up there.
I really don't get this hire. Like, you couldn't find someone else. Like,
I feel like he's the only one who wants to do it after the controversy.
I guess, but I'm just like, I mean, like, especially after his last stint with the Nationals, like they really underachieved, which eventually resulted in him getting fired. So, yeah, interesting hire there.
Yeah.
Other things there, there have been like supposed rumors of David Price and like Mookie Betts in conversations with the LA Dodgers, which if that were to happen, like, you gotta figure LA is essentially has got to give up half of their freaking farm system for that there,
and then lose in the playoffs,
and there has been a lot of drama with Chris Bryant, Matt.
I was just reading up on this because I haven't been paying attention.
Like supposedly he had his grievance denied with the Cubs solo, so he has 2 more years left with them before he can hit free agency. Which, I mean, like, I think it's pretty obvious he ain't re-signing with the Cubs. So you gotta wonder if Chicago is going to end up shopping him, especially too with them probably not really being in contention next year, because just it's quite frankly not a very good team right now. It's a very old team right now, I think. So yeah, and supposedly the Cubs were in preliminary talks with the Rockies about swapping Chris Bryant for Nolan Arenado, which that would be a blockbuster deal and like a clear upgrade for the Cubs there, because things haven't been as great too with Colorado and like Nolan, because supposedly their GM has been shopping him, and basically he just cut off all talks just because he didn't like what some of the offers were coming back.
And didn't I read somewhere he felt disrespected? Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if before his season he's gone.
Yeah, or
because
it seems like a pretty toxic situation, to say the least there. But you know, there's always something interesting going on with the hot stove there, Matt. So
yes.
Now we're going to move on to some fights here. We had a really impressive victory for Chris Cyborg over at a Bellator this past weekend. I needless to say, I was really impressed by her fight against Julia Budd, who I felt was going to be a pretty hard fight for Chris. She is Julia is a legit featherweight, and I mean, like, you could tell Cyborg was being a little bit more cautious. She wasn't just running in there and just swinging for the fences. I mean, like, she was eventually, but for the first, I would say, 2 rounds, she was just kind of tiring her out, and then by rounds 3 and 4, man, and like, Matt, you saw that, like, Cyborg was just, that 4th round, man, she just unleashed a freaking dragon on her, and just, I mean, like, those strikes with those elbows, with those kicks, and like, and you could just tell, like, she broke Julia, like, just like constant pressure, just like constantly in her face. Like, I think the pressure got to her, and like, I don't like saying that, but it's just like, it's a different animal facing Chris Cyborg. And the number one thing that I took away from that fight was she can definitely beat Amanda Nunes. And if this Chris Cyborg fights her again, and especially after the last Amanda fight, like, I definitely think that Chris can definitely beat her. Now, sadly, we will never ever find that out, and there has been a huge debate about about Dana, swallowing his pride and making the biggest fight for women's MMA happen because those are the two biggest women's stars right now are Cyborg and Amanda Nunes.
Yep.
But because of Dana's, how he has treated Cyborg, and Cyborg really, her and her management team really haven't handled her departure from the UFC too well. So it's a very sad thing.
Yeah, that would I don't see not as big as a draw as the McGregor fight, but that would get a good crowd.
Absolutely
buying that.
And two, you could do and Josh Thompson was bringing this up. This could be a great opportunity to do a inter promotional cross promotional card here. It just those will be such fun cards, and we'll kind of break down that freaking barrier with organizations, because it does come off pretty stupid, but and people have been comparing MMA with boxing. Honestly, MMA is exactly like professional wrestling, whereas with UFC is WWE, whereas Bellator is currently AEW right now. So it's just, unfortunately, we are never going to have.
And I agree with that, mainly because of one thing, and maybe this is ignorance on my part, but you see all the drama and the big the promos, if you will, from all these fighters in MMA. Mostly you see UFC, like McGregor, like that character, and
John Jones,
name a person, and it probably is
Israel Adesanya. He's the definition of a professional wrestler persona. It's just the two are the same business models. It's just people keep on wanting to compare it to a boxing, and
boxing, again, maybe ignorant on my part, but I feel like there's more household names in MMA right now than boxing. If you ask me, name three people and three big people in MMA, I could no doubt.
It's just
name boxing.
Yep.
Okay, Mayweather, Pacquiao. Okay, maybe those two, but they're not. They're barely fighting. They're household names, but they're not. That's probably a bad example, but there's no pageantry with boxing as there was back in the day with Tyson and maybe go back George Foreman, Ali, all those people. Those were household names, and to me, boxing is. It doesn't seem as important as it was now. Well, it's still popular. People still watch the fights, but to me, it just seems like MMA is taking that combat sport over.
Well, because too with MMA, they are more exciting fights. That is what that comes down to. A lot of people, and I'm not saying that they are correct or incorrect, is they don't view it very exciting. Also, with the whole politics with boxing, with the promoters, and how we never see the big time fights at the right time. Hell, it took Floyd and Manny a good 5 years before that fight finally happened, and by then it was way too late. It's just there is less BS, there is less politics in MMA, and it's just when you have guys such as Conor, Israel, John Jones, and past people such as like a Ronda and GSP, Cyborg, and all of those people. Like, people are going to gravitate more to that, and like, they get more of their money's worth. Where in boxing, I mean, like, you are fortunate if you get that. I mean, it's not.
And then look at that. Look at the Pacquiao Mayweather fight back a couple years ago.
Thank God I did not buy that.
I know. What was I? I went to see it at a casino.
Mm-hmm.
I was just there waiting. It took forever to get to it and then once it happened,
oh yeah,
it was like a hug fest.
It was
not. It did not live up to standing where I was standing.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, and waiting all that time, and then for it to be a hug fest. Now, to be fair, sometimes you can get that in MMA. I'm not saying you can't.
We definitely saw that with
Holly Holm.
With Holly Holm, and
you can get some stinkers.
Yeah,
but I feel like more than not, you either get a average fight to a just a great fight.
Hell, like Connor and like Floyd was a way better fight in my opinion. Like that was actually action packed. There was like, you were on the edge of your seat sort of thing. Whereas with like Floyd and Manny, it felt like that it was such a freaking easy night for Floyd, and you just like really
the build up was more exciting than the fight.
Yep, absolutely.
And at least to me, I don't know, maybe it's just perception wise, 3 to 5 rounds compared to like 12, 15, what have you.
Yep.
For boxing, even though it not necessarily has to go that long,
and that is a major difference. You don't get any rounds off in MMA, like whereas in like boxing, you can kind of take your time and stuff. Nope, in MMA
you can coast a little bit,
and on top of that, there's more ways to lose in MMA. Like just like one wrong step, you will get either a head kicked in the freaking head, like Cowboy did against Connor, or you will have your ankle picked or whatever. It's just like there's so many ways to lose in MMA, and that's part of why the sport is so exciting. It's like it can be so unpredictable, and that it's truly a thing to see. Which is why the first time that I bought a pay-per-view, which was for UFC 196, I believe, was Connor versus Aldo. I could be wrong about that number, but that was the first show I ever saw. And like Matt, it was like you, me, and like Phil. And
I was there for that. I don't remember.
And Phil was so mad that Connor KO'd Aldo. He was like, but he barely even hit him. And then they showed the replay, and he definitely hit him outright. So needless to say, ever since then I was hooked. But we are getting a little bit off topic here. Yeah. But needless to say, a very impressive performance by Chris Cyborg, and yes, so we are going to move on now, Matt, to some wrestling talk.
Now, as always on the podcast.
And we lead off our wrestling talk with probably the biggest news of the week, and I'll let you introduce yours.
So
introduce this.
I think yesterday was announced in the corporate world. Yeah, that hurt me too.
God damn it, man.
I wasn't expecting it was going to be. Oh, that hurt my ears. Big pop. That the co-presidents of the WWE, George Barrios, I think that's how you say it, and Michelle Wilson, were let go in a. Let me find the article on my phone here. So I'm not saying anything wrong. Where are you? There we go. This is for the New York Post. Barrios and Wilson were removed as presidents, and a Frank Riddick III, who is a board member, is interim CFO as of now. And then the company's searching for a permanent financial chief, and CRO, Chief Revenue Officer. So with that news broke, the stock after hours, I think they were closed in the 60s yesterday, and in the evening after trade hours, it fell 21.5% to 48.88. Now everybody is like, oh, look at gloom and doom. But listen, investors are fickle people. You know why?
Because they're fickle?
Thank you, John. Thank you for that irrelevant opinion.
Okay, Sandow.
Yeah. Because they want to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So when anything that seems negative happens in business, they sell their stock. Sell. Price goes down. They don't want to make money because they're worried. Oh. But listen, I think this happened before at WWE. Wasn't it one in the beginning of we did this podcast? Something we talked about this. I swear to God, a story happened.
I think we just went over their quarterlies.
Yeah.
There wasn't something huge, but
but I know this happened before.
Yeah. Something else I wanted to bring up too, and I'm not sure who tweeted this or whatnot, but there's a supposed story going around with NXT specifically that supposedly USA is not paying them a thing to air that show. When I found that out, I was like, first of all, that's kind of surprising, first of all, because you would think that they would have gotten something from like USA since like USA is so dependent on WWE for consistent viewership.
So I'm looking at their stock right now on the Google.
Yeah.
And two instances here.
Mm-hmm.
So on September 28th, 2018, their stock was up to 91.34,
which I believe that came out once they signed with their Fox deal. Was when that price just skyrocketed.
It got up there.
Yeah.
Then I forget what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Within the next couple of months, it tanked to 62.60.
I want to say
on
that
November 23rd, a month later.
Was that due to the whole Saudi Arabia thing?
Possibly.
Yeah, because I recall when that stock plummeted.
It's 2018. I think I don't think that's it yet.
Or was that? Or was that before?
Okay. I think that's before. Okay. So anyhow, so you're like, oh, gloom and freaking doom.
Mm-hmm.
What? Oh goodness me!
Mm-hmm.
But from that point to, let's see what the highest point was, April 18th, 2019.
Right.
It was back up to 96.71.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, like,
and then
it's going to eventually
and then I think the big drop we were talking about on October 25th, it was 68.37.
Okay.
And then it dropped November 8th. It went to 54.73 or 72, and then it goes back up, and it went 60.43. Now it's the 48.88. So, like the stock market, which is it is a stock market.
Yeah.
Things fluctuate. Like, look at as early as here we go. This is probably when the deals came in. On April 6th, 2018. 2018, the stock was at 37.52. And then at this point, it was just a slow, barely steady climb from 2015, which is 13.23. Right. Then I guess maybe the television deals came in.
Mm-hmm.
And from when I said 35.82, 37.52 on April 6, 2018,
right,
just at July 20th, 2018, it went up to 82.92.
Mm-hmm.
So it just went up. Yeah, it's on a downward climb, but things happen. When people in positions in the corporate world, if they suddenly like leave, yeah, you're afraid, but and you want to sell. Oh, the gloom and doom. But stuff happens. It's cyclical in the stock market. 1 year the stock market could do like all-time highs, and another year it's down day by day. I get notifications on my phone. Dow Jones up, I don't know, 2%. Next day it could be. Investors are worried about so-and-so. It's down 2.2, and we're back where we started. So
it's like a market streak for you. Like, it's constantly up and down. But
I think this is a bigger story than this. I know this happened before, and everybody was freaking out about WWE stock, but it's fine.
So I follow WrestleNomics, who is a very good Twitter page
I found that.
for all of this.
If you care about money,
yeah. So according to a media analyst, John Belton, and he cites three different reasons for the plummet in the stocks here. Or basically why Vince chose to basically fire these people, or I believe, did WWE release a press release saying that they left, and that they weren't actually fired?
I don't remember.
But supposedly the three main reasons were lower profit expectations, disagreements centered on reinvestment cap allocation policies, etc. And number three, abrupt firing suggests a plummet, among other things. So I mean, like, I'm just like kind of thinking of like it must have been really bad for those two execs if they did just like flat out leave. Then, like, I'm very interested to see what that quarterly meeting is going to be like next week.
Yeah, here's a quote from WrestleNomics. That was from an hour ago.
Yeah.
From Citigroup, saying it suspects that the co-presidents, quote, wanted to gradually reinvest incremental U.S. media rights revenues, while McMahon wanted to make more aggressive investments. And MKM, I don't know who this is. A change in the C-suite does not necessarily mean bad news is coming. I don't know what that means. But I think it's just a difference of opinions in how to run the company.
Right.
I don't think this is all, again, not gloom and doom. I think this is above our pay grade of my understanding of stuff. And like, I wanted to say that McMahon is where he is for a reason, because he understands his stuff. So co-presidents.
So
to me, it's just run of the mill stuff. It had happened. Life will go on.
So let's say that the stock doesn't really improve too much, and that the company is having some like money issues, because I believe that their two main sources of income currently are with their TV deals with NBC, Universal, and Fox, along with the Saudi deal. Like, I was just kind of thinking about this, and I'm talking more specifically about like NXT live events, etc. Like, are we going to see WWE do more of the AEW model, where they basically cut out all live events together? Because I believe, actually, and this was reported by Fightful, where basically WWE is actually losing money by doing these shows now. So you gotta wonder at some point if that's going to eventually be on the chopping block,
possibly, because as you have the link here, they're cutting back live events and doing more super shows.
Right.
I don't think that's a bad idea. I mean, I'm no money person, but if you're losing money, if you cut back and you combine both rosters, which if I'm a fan who wants to go, just from a fan's perspective, if you have more super shows, to be able, like, I'm just putting through your the mind of of a kid, who who's more ignorant of the wrestling business than we are right now,
Right.
that people can see an opportunity to see more of their favorite wrestlers compared to one brand, and especially if one show's on a Monday or a Friday, and you have to decide whether if you want to pay money to go see a live event or watch it on TV.
Right.
You're I don't know, but I as a fan, I think it's fine.
They are still fun. Do not get me wrong. It's just
I think we haven't been to a live event in a while. Just
I think the last outside of
like
our
a non-TV one
of our WrestleMania trip last year.
Well, at least you.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about a live event, a non-televised show.
And on televised.
It was probably
It's been years. It's been years. Like because I do remember we went to one show. It was like probably back in 2010 or something like that.
Maybe even around, maybe a little bit after.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah. But it's just a money making thing
Right now,
which is why a lot of companies just aren't doing it. Like you don't see ROH, they don't run too many live events. I mean, like AEW does do any of them, just
not right now.
Which
it's not valuable.
No. And,
it's just starting out.
And another thing that I was thinking about too is if this is true, and I'm saying if this is true, if NXT is not getting paid anything to air live every single week, at one point are you Vince and Triple H and you say we can't be going live every single week with this if we're not making any money off of it. So that's another thing that I think needs to be
unless they're playing I don't know what the phrase I want to use, but looking ahead, and when the television deals come up, use it as leverage. Like, hey, and I know we're down on the ratings, but hey, we're doing this ratings on your channel. It's live content. We're doing. I don't know relative to USA numbers. I don't know what NXT does in comparison to that.
Well, especially too for the big deal that AEW signed with them, TNT. Like, the market has been set for that.
Yeah. So we know, and we'll cover this again soon.
Yeah.
That AEW is winning 100,000, but in perspective, it's 100,000.
Right.
I mean, it's not like AEW's doing $1.5 million and NXT's doing so. It's close, quote unquote.
Yep.
What have you? So if TNT, one of the major cable networks, is happy with like this week's number, 828,000, right? Live content, right?
More than happy if you just like judge off of their.
You get a good
deal.
demo in 18 to 49. You get that key demo.
Yep.
NXT and I'm trying to combine these two, so we're moving through.
Yeah.
AEW had 0.34, NXT had 0.22. Relatively, when you compare the two, not good for NXT, but I mean, in the long run, it's probably a good number for NXT for USA. I'm going to assume. Again, I don't have the numbers.
I would love to know how many, if any, shows are even sniffing that at 700,000 viewers
on USA. I got to look.
How many reruns of like an NCIS
or Law and Order SVU
or like Law exactly. It's just like it's not hard to figure out why some of these TV networks are paying some money for them just because
it's live content.
It's live content, and there are not too many other shows on their networks that are getting the consistent viewership of 700,000, 800,000, 900,000 viewers every
what
single
have
week.
you. Yeah. And for TNT, AEW, I think this week it was third.
Yep.
And NXT, not as good, but 37th. I mean, it's not up there, but it's consistent.
And with like TNT, like, you know, in that 18 to 49 demo, which is the the most important demo that
advertisers
the advertisers look at, they are consistently in the top 10 in that demo every single week.
Right.
So it's a sustainable business model right now, and that's why within the span of like 8 months, TNT came back to the table, and they got a brand new contract where they got a lot more money now. So
and WWE can use that as leverage. Like when the TV deals come up, I don't know what year, I don't know how long they go for.
I think NXT signed a shorter term deal, because I don't think that they signed a 5-year deal like WWE signed with Fox and Universal
for Raw
and SmackDown.
Well, those are like evergreen things, like
right.
Crap. So you could say, hey, this is doing this. If not, they can say, I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
They could say, we can pull in, oh, maybe Fox will want this. Maybe Fox will pay money, like FS1.
Yep.
Which, for FS1, 800,000.
Well, and supposedly FS1, they were in TV negotiations to get NXT, but apparently one of the things that the WWE turned away for was that they would be preempted for, I believe, Iggy's basketball. So that's the thing right there. They would obviously need to work that out, because clearly, if you are Triple H, why would you go there and not go onto USA where like there's zero chance of you getting preempted?
Yeah, it's
just common sense there.
Yeah. So we tackled pretty much the ratings there.
Yeah. So
but before we get into this week's AEW and NXT, the big story from Monday Night Raw was not the Royal Rumble winner, Drew McIntyre. No. Was the story
Rated R Superstar Edge.
Yes. Thank you, Tony Chimmel.
I miss Chimmel so much. That was the one thing that I wish that we had this week, was Chimmel announcing Edge's return, because there's no one who does it better for Edge. But.
Is the segment that went off the air, and one can argue one of the best segments they've pulled off.
It got me so excited for this match.
So to sum it up, Edge comes out, main event segment. Pretty much it says why he came back and all that. Just his thanks. He didn't want to live with the what ifs in life, which is very good point.
It was very reminiscent of when Daniel Bryan came back out of retirement. That was some of the vibes that I was getting.
Yeah, he was emotional. Obviously it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And then almost predictably,
Orton comes out.
Randy Orton comes out, and
single-handedly becomes the biggest heel in the company. Just like that.
Came out. They hugged, they embraced, and you knew it was going somewhere from, obviously, but they teased it at the Royal Rumble the night before with
Rated RKO.
With Rated RKO and Edge eliminating him. But they hug. Randy Orton once asked if they should reunite Rated RKO for one more time, and the crowd pops, does the yes chant.
Yep.
Just a big pop. And then I can't snap. There we go.
Yep.
RKO, and the crowd boos.
Yep. Edge is like, he's such a easy guy to pull forward, and like Orton is such an easy guy to hate. So like it's going to be a really good dynamic here.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be a lot of fun. Like honestly, I'm like Edge to me is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Like, just I've always been a huge Edge head, to say the least. So like there are so many fun matches and feuds for him, and this, like personally, I was hoping for like Edge versus AJ Styles, but definitely Edge versus Orton is going to be a really good match. And
I think somebody said this point. Was it on Jim Cornette's show? Probably. I think that there's potential for other matches, but I think if Edge wanted somebody that he's comfortable with coming back for his first match,
Orton, yeah,
Randy Orton, because Randy Orton will. They know each other, will protect him,
take care of him. Yeah.
Because when's the last time Edge wrestled?
9 years.
9 years ago.
Yep. 9
so, as good as Edge is, I mean,
AJ is. Oh,
what did I say?
I thought you were referring to why they wouldn't hook Edge versus AJ.
Oh no, I no.
Yeah.
So, but as good as Edge is, like 9 years is a long time to just all of a sudden just wrestle again.
Yep.
And Randy Orton, I don't say not carry him through a match, but if Edge has any rust, which probably will, didn't see much in the Rumble, but it's a Rumble.
I think he knocked a lot of that off in the Rumble. Honestly, I just think it was.
But I think a Rumble is different than actually from ring bell to bell, because you can. There's a lot of times you saw in the match, and you can just be dead in the corner and kind of just.
Unless you're Brock. Unless you're Brock and sweating like a freaking hog out there.
Right, but like you can hide some of your rust in a Rumble.
Right.
Because you don't have. You're not wrestling for an hour. You can just kick and scream in the corner. But yeah, and another thing they surprised me in this segment. They actually did the concerto.
Yeah, that definitely surprised me. I was like, okay, they got a lot of heat out of that segment. So, like, easily right there, you're gonna pull in a lot of people for that match right there. So, needless to say, this was executed perfectly, and then
Edge doesn't have to be on every week.
Nope.
Now, obviously, because if you sell an injury,
and like honestly, I would probably keep them off for a good 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah. Really sell that thing. Really sell that.
I wouldn't be opposed if this is me booking. If at the Super Show, Randy Orton has a match, whether it be for AJ, what have you, and then
well, that's probably is like not happening because I believe
that's right. He's hurt.
AJ's,
okay, what? That's right. I forgot. Anywho, Randy Orton has a match with whoever, and then you can have Edge come in and like cost him the match. He returns. That's about 4 weeks after. That's middle of February.
Yeah, because I believe that show's on the 27th.
Okay, so that's
I believe
almost a month.
Yeah.
You can have him come back, and get that big moment on a pay-per-view.
Right.
The cost Randy Orton, and then you have maybe the next night or next Raw and appearances, and maybe keep building that up. To me, I think that's a good place for him to return, because it's a quote unquote pay-per-view. Whether you agree with Saudi Arabia, but it's still a big show that they're booking, because they're
getting paid a lot of money to air 2 shows.
Yes, and in the Saudi show they're trying to build up big. They had Bray Wyatt with his title over there.
Yeah.
So they're trying to make it as meaningful as possible. So I wouldn't oppose that idea. But this feud I'm instantly hooked in.
Yep, same here.
This should be a good Mania match. Because are we talking about preview?
I want to talk about the 3 rumored
let's do that
women's title matches. So according to Fightful.com, which Matt he will attach all of these links in the description.
Right there.
So basically right now these are the rumored 3 title matches for WrestleMania for the women right now. We have Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title. We have Bayley versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's title, and the shock that I saw here was Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte for the NXT title. So remember my like a rant from the Rumble. If this is true, I take back a lot of what I said, because man, like Matt, you talk about 3 fresh matchups.
Yep.
That alone is going to get me excited, because and we'll just talk about Charlotte versus Rhea specifically. This is going to help NXT's viewership a little bit, because that definitely, I think, is going to be a goal of theirs, is to try and provide some more competition against some Dynamite. And 2, it's a really fresh match, like I said, and this is definitely going to put over Rhea more as one of the top women in the company. I don't really see Charlotte winning, just because I just can't see her being on NXT unless she goes with the Balor route and is now just going to be on NXT. But I really can't see that happening. But Shayna versus Becky is the match that Becky needs to have right now, especially after Survivor Series ended, and for how strong that Shayna was booked in that Rumble match. Like, I don't think, and there's not too many more feuds for Becky, if any, on either Raw or SmackDown. So it makes way too much sense here to have this feud, to have this match. And and for Sasha versus Bayley, I mean, it's finally going to happen. I'm just like, this is probably the least excited I am out of all 3 matches, just because like Bayley has been so meh as champion right now, and obviously Sasha is battling through some injuries right now, so hopefully she will get back soon. But Matt, what are your thoughts on these rumored title matches?
In regards to Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, if this is the route they're going, like you were saying, the Rumble win makes sense, because if Charlotte does not win, let's say the matches are the same, but Charlotte doesn't win the Rumble and Baszler goes after Becky Lynch, to me, it would make no sense for Charlotte just to randomly appear on NXT, because she's a Raw superstar, right? And you have the brand split. Right. With Charlotte winning the Rumble, it never says, obviously, what title. It could be any. It could be people are just Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. And she said this past week that she's not sure. She's still thinking about it. Yep. So if she wasn't sure, if she was sure,
she would have said something.
Wouldn't well, obviously, but with the build up to the Rumble, she kept saying Becky's name, like feuding with Becky. You would think this was building up to the Rumble. You would think with Becky,
which is why I think she would have said something. But I mean, and it goes back to that, like, why not just put Shayna over? Because does like Charlotte need to win that match to get a match with Rhea Ripley? I just
no, but
I don't think so.
But I think it makes sense that she'd be allowed to go on a different brand, right? With Shayna, even though there is NXT is a brand, they can move her or she can fight because there's history there.
Right.
So it doesn't, to me, doesn't it still kind of makes sense.
And I think too,
Bailey and Sasha,
mm-hmm.
I think it'd still be a good match. I'm interested to see how the turn would come on either one of those, because they were a face group team, and then they're heels, so somebody has to turn back face, which I would assume it would be. I would assume it would be Sasha, because she'd be the more popular one, and what she will probably necessarily not be like a face, but just like that Becky Lynch type of character, when she just acts like a badass. And we know their history with those two, so I mean, if they do their thing, it could be a good match. And built correctly, it could be great. Out of the three, that's
it's definitely the least.
That's
it's
the
just
third.
Bailey is just she.
But that's just where it stands now.
She's a really boring champion, and that's. I mean, like, I'm hoping that they pull something out with the build that's going to garner some interest. But I mean, like, just for me specifically, like, Bailey is just like, she is just really boring right now.
But so far on Mania, the rumors and confirmed.
Rumors and innuendo.
Okay, Bruce. We have pretty much to confirm. It is confirmed. Drew McIntyre versus Lesnar, which I can't wait.
Yeah. Honestly, this Mania card is looking pretty.
You have the
good right
rumored of Bray Wyatt versus Roman Reigns.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes right there.
As long as Bray Wyatt wins, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
You shut up over there. Which
bad news, Matt.
Which still it could be a good match. Then you have Baszler and Becky Lynch. I guess we say Bailey, Sasha.
Roman must pose.
Roman must point and wink, wink, heart, and whatever the thing
wink,
is.
Wink, heart, and point.
And Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. Am I missing anything else?
No.
Edge and Randy Orton.
Yeah, Edge and Randy. I mean, so, it's looking like a very good card. Way better than the Mania card last year, in my opinion. So, I mean, there's definitely reason to be optimistic. I'm hoping that they are not as lazy with the build as they've been in years past. But we shall see what happens. But definitely some things to potentially look forward to towards WrestleMania 30, 35? 36 now, damn.
I think.
Okay. So we talked about the ratings already, but now let's talk about AEW Dynamite from this past week. I would say this show, it was an okay show. I wouldn't say that it was a good show. I wouldn't say that it was a bad show.
It was a show.
It was a show. But definitely one of the more interesting segments was the opening segment with Deathstroke. I'm John Moxley. And Chris Jericho.
I enjoyed the beginning of this. Not so much the second half.
Yeah, that was me too. Like that brawl, like it just felt so unnecessary.
Why did the fat Mexican Mean Street Posse show up? Who are they?
Yeah, like that just felt extremely unnecessary to me.
It was just awkward how they got to it.
But one line that had me dying was Chris Jericho. He was referencing Johnny Depp from Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of dumb. Like it was so stupid, but it was so funny. So, but before we got to that, basically Moxley hypes up his title match. He was referencing past feuds. I'm talking about about Chris Jericho being the best ever, but has had a past history of being a ruthless. He references his past feuds.
I totally
it's like
missed
Ray
that.
and
I missed his reference somehow.
And when he punched Shawn Michaels' wife, recall that.
I missed that.
Yeah. He
What
basically
did he say?
basically he was just talking about his ruthlessness as far and just and I forget exactly how he presented that, but like
it's probably not vague, but enough that I totally missed him when I watched it.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty obvious, but he went on to say, like, as far as like Moxley said, that money doesn't matter if you don't have a code, and for him he has a certain code, and he eventually asks Chris Jericho to come on out and fight. Eventually the Inner Circle come out, which then leads to Chris Jericho saying why would I fight here in Cleveland against you?
I don't know if they crap on Cleveland.
Yeah,
as a Pittsburgher.
That I cannot wait to talk about the Baker stuff. But before that, Jericho said basically essentially calling him a pirate, and he says you can't even blink with both eyes right now, let alone think about beating me or something.
That's another line I liked.
Yeah.
I enjoyed.
What's that?
That you can't even blink with, you only can blink with one eye or whatever.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. That was a good line in my eyes, pun intended.
Absolutely, and it ends with a very unnecessary brawl that it didn't look really good. It just
random posse people come out,
and WWE does this a lot, and it just annoys me. Like it's unnecessary. Like it just didn't need to be there. But overall
awkward.
Yeah, but overall a decent segment. Then we get MJF and like Wardlow backstage, which I appreciate this because they actually show Butcher and Blade in a freaking butcher shop and stuff, and setting up the tag match with the Bucks versus Butcher and Blade, and basically MJF is showing paying off Butcher and Blade there to basically take out the Bucks there.
I'm surprised they weren't in the Bed Bath & Beyond store.
All right. But man, freaking MJF, man, like him on commentary is it's a natural treasure. But it's also sad too when he does a way better job in putting over everything in this match. And JR, I love you, JR, but like you are nowhere near as good as MJF was doing this. Like we actually got some more backstory. Like I didn't know that freaking Butcher, he was trained by former UFC heavyweight Josh Barnett, and I believe I forget who Blade was trained by, but he talked about that as well. I'm like, just like small things like that, and just giving your audience some more information about these guys. I felt that was excellently done, and he did just an amazing job just reacting to everything that was happening in the match, which we got the Bucks versus Butcher and Blade. And so many people were getting so mad with AEW, like, these guys are like jobbers, blah blah blah. I'm like, guys, not every tag team in whether it's AEW, NXT, WWE, Impact, whatever, not every team are going to be top tag teams. Exactly. So like, there are going to be some tag teams that are going to be undercard tag teams that are going to have to take losses, and that is what Butcher and Blade currently are. They put on a pretty good match here. Bucks, they win. I mean, it's pretty clear to me, Matt, that they're Well, and we'll talk about that after we talk about the end segment here. So basically, after the match, Butcher and Blade beat up some more on the Bucks. Eventually, Kenny and Hangman come down, and Matt, maybe it's just me, but man, Hangman is really growing on me as this like as
this random drunk.
Yeah, as this random drunk. He just casually walks into the ring. I think he asked a Matt to like hold his beer.
Yeah.
He just buckshot lariat some. I believe it was Blade, and just took him out, and it looked really good too. And then like he chugged the rest of his beer. So I think it's pretty clear, Matt. We are setting up for the Bucks versus Kenny and Hangman at Revolution, which I'm really liking the consistent progression of Hangman. It's like I think he's finally starting to find himself here, and
no, I still don't know why he's drunk.
We still don't know why he's drunk, but I will say it's been pretty entertaining, to say the least.
And I want to say this the end of this match.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like the weakest Meltzer driver, if you remember.
Yeah.
Who jumps up the rope? It
was probably Nick who probably jumped up.
His interaction of this move looked not impactful, like he barely did anything.
Yeah.
That was what I took away. That like it looked like he completely whiffed. It was pretty much just a power driver with a little pat on the back.
Speaking of weak offense and stuff, this women's match between Nyla Rose and Big Swole. Holy hell! I'm like, Big Swole. Like, can you please lay the, as Stone Cold Steve Austin would say, lay the in. There was just with her punches or kicks or whatever, it all just looks so fake. She looked like that she was so afraid to freaking hit Nyla Rose here. I was like, it was really irritating me. I'm like, this is not, it's not helping with the women's division.
But Nyla Rose should be dominating, and it just, I don't know, it just doesn't.
I'm honestly at the point now where I would not be mad if they just completely just didn't even bother with the women's division right now, until they actually have some women in here who can actually work and who do not look like girls who should not be out there. This was just another poor performance. Big Swole, to me, she has potential. She has athleticism, a good personality, and she has charisma. But this was just a very piss poor performance. It just
and Nyla Rose, which I missed last week's.
Mm-hmm.
That I guess she's #1 contender now.
I don't think she was on Dynamite last week.
Yeah, because how is she #1 contender?
Because I think she was on AEW Dark and she won a few more matches. But also supposedly yeah.
See, there's the problem.
Yep. I mean,
AEW Dark, which is not. I mean, it adds to the thing, but it's not really.
It's not really referenced.
It's like main event.
Mm-hmm. And also, Sean Ross Sapp, who was who was in Cleveland for Dynamite, he tweeted after the show ended. They were filming Dark. Apparently, the two women who were in the Nightmare Collective, supposedly they turned on Awesome Kong. So, right? I'm like, why didn't we get this on Dynamite? You would think that would have been a big thing.
See, you said there's no Nightmare Collective. I thought there was just rumors they just wanted to get rid of it. I didn't know there was an actual segment on Dark.
Or no, for next week. For next week, not this week.
Yeah, for Dark for next week.
Yeah, for next week.
But okay,
But yeah.
Oh, no, like what?
Right. It's just like it's a complete cluster with this women's division. But I will say this: if this and obviously this means that we're finally are getting the end of this god awful faction. We need to get some legitimate direction. We need to get a champion who's going to be there every single week. Riho. So yeah, just more of the same with the women. So let's move on to Cody versus Kip Sabian, being escorted by the lovely Penelope Ford. This was a pretty decent match. It was kind of weird how Arn got thrown out of this match. It just like I mean like I think that they were playing the whole angle of like Arn just being super pissed off and frustrated. But
That was the worst kick out of the match I've ever like. Arn's in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's first he gets he steals the shoe that or whatever that what's her face.
Yeah, Penelope Ford. Yeah.
Penelope Cruz or whatever her name is.
Penelope Ford, Matt.
I don't care.
I just told you 3 times.
I know. I did that on purpose.
God damn it.
I don't care about her. I don't care. And he gets into the ring and is like, oh, your shoe, I have your shoe, and throws it in. And the ref, this jabroni ref that I swear to God is the worst one ever.
I hate him.
Is arguing with Arn to get out. And Arn's just arguing back, and then does the worst like shoulder like block, like he's gonna like walk past him and he accidentally hits him, but it was just like hi.
Yeah,
and the ref kicks him. I'm like, what?
Yeah, so
I feel like that was like awkward. I like took the match out, and like it was just poorly executed. And then we had
Jelly Janela
that is conveniently was in the corner in the crowd by the ramp and the stuff, and
I will say
Kip Sabian
it made me laugh. It made me laugh though.
And Penelope, what's her face? Just
come on, say it.
I don't know.
Penelope Ford.
No,
come on, Matt.
Penelope Chevrolet.
Where you get the Chevrolet?
Ford Chevrolet. I don't know. Ha, dad joke. Conveniently kiss over the corner of the crowd, and up comes
the right place at
Jelly,
the right time.
Jelly Nutella, thank you, and just they both kiss,
and then
Jelly on the face,
and
like why?
And like Jelly flips off on Kip when he leaves.
So just convenient.
Yeah, just conveniently there.
I was just like, yeah.
And this match eventually ends when Cody hits 3 separate crossroads onto Kip and gets the 1, 2, 3. And it was also announced for next week that next week is when Cody gets his 10 lashings from MJF. So that should be a spectacle there. I cannot wait to see that. So then we get a recap of Britt's god awful promo last week. God help me.
Yeah, I saw. I was like,
but then we get
it's like me trying to cut a heel promo.
I have hated on Britt Baker for the last few weeks, but damn it, when you make fun of Cleveland, when you say I'm a Baker that you can depend on,
or believe in, or whatever.
I mean, like the freaking Yinzer in me, Matt, cannot possibly hate that. Even though she's still really really cringy and stuff, I ignored that for that short amount of time here.
And I wasn't. I think in the beginning the crowd was saying Pittsburgh sucks.
Yeah,
which you're wrong. But that's besides the point. It still looks like it feels like. Picture the nicest person you know, and tell them, and like in an acting class,
yeah,
or in a play, to be the mean person. And this is what I feel like with Britt.
Yeah.
That she
I will say this though, it was a much better promo this week.
It was better.
It was much better, but
somehow the recorded promo was worse than the live.
And at least we're getting some sort of a character with her now,
yes.
and so that's good. But needless to say, it's a work in progress.
There's at least a woman's wrestler that has some sort of character development,
and we need more of that. So hopefully, this is the start of a trend of something of us, getting.
I like how they were just using everybody's criticisms of JR against him.
Like what she said to JR of him forgetting about people's names and stuff. I was shocked that she said that. I was like, damn, that's cruel, but man, that's
so I appreciated that. Mm-hmm. And still Tony Schiavone works at Starbucks that I didn't know. With that, it was not as. It wasn't great, but it was better.
And Cleveland sucks. All right, moving on.
Who the hell are the Hybrid 2? Who are these jabronis and a half?
Basically, they were Angelico and Jack Evans, a former two guys from Lucha Underground, which no one cared about. The match had zero heat, and I really don't feel like talking about this. So basically, SCU win.
They come out. It's like freaking Halloween. They look like it's a skull, like black.
They look ridiculous.
Things with it look like skeletons, like orange and green on them, and they come out. They're dancing like the stupid jocks in high school that you just want to punch in the face. Yeah. And if you saw a fight in the hallway, you would let it go if they were getting their butts kicked.
Right.
And maybe that's the point, but. Like what is this team? The Hybrid 2. Did I miss the Hybrid 1? What was the first hybrid? What are they hybrid of?
I don't know.
If I missed the first one, thank God I missed the first one, and I hope there's not a Hybrid 3.
Yeah, it's just like SCU win, and the match is over. Which I continue to say, I want to see Scorpio Sky get into some singles. I really do feel that out of all three of those guys, he definitely has some potential.
I want to call SCU the Bald Man Collective.
The Bald Man Collective,
because they're all
right.
It's better than the
moving on
other collective that doesn't exist anymore.
So we get a small little video package of the Dark Order. Basically, they said that they have the SCU on their target list, and that they should beware. So it looks like we are getting a feud between SCU and the Dark Order. Hopefully that goes better. I'm going forward. So then,
I don't know. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
And then we had a really good Pac video package here. This was pretty good here. I really like this.
He's losing his damn mind.
He's losing his freaking mind, and he really wants another match against Kenny Omega. So, very good way to build up to the eventual match against him.
You know what this package reminds me of, and I know when I say this, you're gonna give me a look, but it had this vibe, especially at the end, about how crazy, but was if a type of not 1-to-1, but like a type of like a Bray Wyatt vibe to it, of him going nuts and just saying stuff crazy. And again, not 1-to-1, but what made me at the end is, at the end of the Bray Wyatt's promo, they have that that scream, and at the end of this Pac one, he had him like kind of yell and kind of like the rapid fire, the crazy. I don't know how to explain it. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Like he was screaming, but it was like rapid.
Right.
So it gave me that vibe because it was creepy because it was at night, like on the steps.
Right.
But like I know it's not a 1-to-1, maybe not the best comparison, but that's what I got out of it. Mm-hmm. And I totally forgot what he was saying in the promo because I was intrigued, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he was more nuts than usual.
Right. And then we get to the main event, which was a 6-man tag between Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz versus Darby Allin and the Private Party. Definitely a thing that stood out to me is Darby Allin is over. He's getting a consistent reaction every single week. I'm hoping that they can start to build him up a little bit more. What I think would really help him is definitely a like mid-card title. Just something that's will keep him busy, because I do think that he definitely has the potential to be a pretty big star for this company.
Yeah, I think they need a secondary title.
Absolutely.
For the men,
which I think Cody has like hinted at. He obviously there aren't any real concrete plans for that, but I'm hoping that sometime this year that they get that,
like a TV champion or their intercontinental something equivalent. Because he can really build other wrestlers. I'm sorry, saying WWE, whoop-de-doo,
right?
Like a Darby Allin or whatever.
Him, Pac. I mean, like, and guys who we presume are going to be coming in, like Harper, a Matt Hardy, Matt. I'm not sure if you saw this today, but there was another report that came out that supposedly that both Dash and Dawson requested once again for their release. So any sort of speculation of them re-signing with the company feels like that's it ain't happening. So, but getting off topic there, but just that would really help them. The match overall, it was okay,
and it wasn't anything to me. What I remember thinking was Private Party's just there now. They lost a ton of steam. There's no real direction with them.
No,
they're kind of just the team that you need to fill a spot at this point.
And you texted me earlier about this. You're like, man, there is a lot of them 6-man tags.
I did, yes.
But I think one reason for that is with their roster being so tiny and so thin, they are running out of like singles matches. I think that's a reason why. And like again, it's not a very good excuse, but I mean, I think that's probably one of other reasons why
that makes sense.
Why we're seeing so many tags.
Isn't there an 8-man tag next week?
Yeah,
I was like, but it's not a 6-man tag.
No,
so I cannot complain.
Yeah, it's the Bucks, Hangman and Kenny versus Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix, and who are the other two? Was it Santana and Ortiz?
Probably.
I don't think so. But
I don't know.
But it's or no, Butcher and played.
Stupid. Yeah.
So basically, after the Inner Circle won the match here, they beat up some more on Private Party and Darby Allin, and they beat the crap out of Darby Allin here. And eventually Moxley comes down, hits everyone with a baseball bat, and the show goes off the air with John Moxley holding up the baseball bat and everything. So, and as I said, an okay episode of Dynamite, not a great one, but we're about, I believe, 4 weeks from Revolution, so hopefully we'll get some really good build as we build up to that show. We're starting to see what that card is going to potentially look like. I mean, obviously with Kenny and like Moxley, MJF and Cody, and what looks like to be Kenny and Hangman versus the Bucks. So 3 really good matches right there. But let's move on to NXT, Matt, and like for once, both of us watched the show in its entirety. Whoop whoop.
There is a God.
There is a God. So I would characterize this episode as very similar with like Dynamite, a good show, not a terrible show, and not a great show. But the first thing that happened, Matt, we had like a Finn Balor versus Trent Seven. This match was set up when Finn Balor cornered Trent in the parking lot, and basically this,
I think wasn't it set up at Worlds Collide?
Yeah. Which by the way was a really fun show on Saturday, definitely go out of your way to see DIY versus Mustache Mountain, and that cruiserweight title match was a thing of freaking beauty. Matt, a pretty basic match. This one probably about what 10 minutes or so.
Probably. I think I mean it was a enjoyable match for Trent Seven. He's really grown on me, Mustache Mountain. But of course, you thought Balor gets the win.
Yeah. Which they also made official him versus Johnny Gargano for TakeOver. Which, by the way, Matt, this TakeOver card next weekend. Woo! Take my money.
Take my $9.99.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll talk about that at the end here. But so we get a Broserweights interview, and
I love him so much.
Like,
I love it.
I never knew that I needed a tag team like them until now. It's just like
knew we wanted
just Riddle and Pete Dunne just work off of each other perfectly. Like,
who says tag teams are not tag teams are a bad thing? They work just so well together. They're the yin and the yang, opposites attract.
Right.
How Pete Dunne does not break, I will never know.
Yep.
Because most of the stuff I guess is live.
Oh yeah,
still,
it's live.
But it's so good.
And like we saw like 2 or 3 times tonight, Matt, flaming numbers, which eventually read 2/5/2020
next week.
So, I mean, like, I'm very interested to see what this is like. Definitely.
What somebody pointed out that it could be Velveteen Dream because the 3 circles were in the triangle thing, like his glasses.
Right.
Possibly, but I don't know who else. That they signed anybody? We don't know.
Well, there's been unconfirmed reports that Killer Cross has been in talks with WWE. I'm not sure if like maybe this might be him. I'm going to say no.
That's a quick turnaround.
Yeah. So I can't see that happening. But yeah, like Velveteen Dream seems pretty realistic there though. Then we had a small match between Shotzi Blackheart versus Deonna Purrazzo. This was okay. Shotzi coming out in a like mini tank was interesting.
I wonder if that was a
shot at like
Sammy Guevara when the little tank. Or that's just her character.
It might be her character.
All I know, I want a tank.
Yeah.
I want to drive a tank.
Matt, what's a tank?
How's that not fun?
I mean, I can't deny that.
Hey,
so
thank you.
So this match was pretty short, lasted about 5 minutes. I believe that this was set up last week when Deonna attacked them Shotzi backstage.
I don't recall, but
but like nothing really too special here. Shotzi wins, and
that was about it. I like Shotzi from the little I seen her. Obviously, they view highly of her. So far, to eliminate Shayna and have this match to build her up, I guess they see a lot of potential there. It's there.
Yep.
And then there was the they had the recap of Keith Lee winning over Roderick Strong.
Yeah, and then he came out here, which. This was just all about to set up for Keith Lee's opponent at TakeOver. So basically, he cuts a promo, saying that he's the new champion. Eventually, Damian Priest and Dijak come out. Basically, they want a crack at his title, which this eventually leads to a match between Damian Priest and Dijak, which was, even though it was a short match, man, was there some cool
I'm trying to hold the mic like Damian Priest.
Yeah, that was the thing. I was like, why is he holding that mic so weird for?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because that's his thing.
It was weird, but so So basically, Dijak. Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Dijak. He wins here, which it was surprisingly a pretty short match here. I thought that they would have given this a little bit more time, but
that was a hard hitting match.
Oh God,
two big man.
Mm-hmm. Like if two big athletic men too. Like this was, for as short as it was pretty good. So
I was interested.
So this presumably sets up a North American title match between Keith Lee versus Dijak, which I believe they're both tied at 1 apiece as far as their matches are concerned. So there's also, they can also play with that angle there. So yeah,
story,
yeah. I mean,
and
I'm not gonna complain for it. Another match between those two.
No, because it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we had a backstage segment with Ciampa in the Undisputed Era
beating the holy hell out of all of them.
But they took a metal pipe, and then they cut to it was outside, or no, it was the hallway, that the Undisputed Era minus Adam Cole were taken out, knocked unconscious with the pipe. Ciampa gets to the ring, brings a table out, spray paints a yellow X on it, and Cole sees the carnage backstage and comes out all mad, obviously, with at Ciampa, and Ciampa just goes, this is what's going to happen. You're going to come in the ring, I'm going to beat you up, and I'm going to slam you through this table. X marks the spot. And then Regal comes out with the contract and says he had it. He wasn't sure who it is, but I guess I'm bringing it out now.
Right.
And Cole comes out, and Cole walks to the ring with the contract. Goes, no, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to come in. I'm going to beat your butt. Because I think he already signed the contract. He
signed the contract
for whatever reason. And but he gets in the ring, and Ciampa obviously does what he says, attacks him, power bombs him,
and then signs the contract in his blood.
I think he signed it, then he put the blood on it.
Yeah,
because he had the pen. Because apparently the clipboard got him in the head.
Yeah,
and he started bleeding, and because all of a sudden I heard the crowd go,
"Sign
with blood," and I'm like, "Why?" And blood. I was like, "Oh, he cut his head open." So he got it, and he wiped it on the contract. And then
pretty cool visual there.
Yeah, and then he was bleeding on the title, and then he hugged it.
Yeah.
So an impromptu great visual for that.
The pursuit of Goldie. So that match is now official. You would presume that would be the main event for
absolutely
there.
So that was a good segment.
Then we had a recap of Bianca Belair and her Rumble match, which she had a very good performance there, and she will be challenging Rhea Ripley for the NXT Women's Division at Takeover
Championship
in Portland. Then we get an announcement that Jordan Devlin, who is a new NXT Cruiserweight champion, he will be appearing on the show next week. I was stunned that they put the title on him, but you would presume that they are going to be doing him versus Angel Garza. So
yeah, which would be fun. That
will be a lot of fun. And then we get a match between Tegan Nox versus Dakota Kai. This was pretty short here. I think it's pretty clear that we might be getting a match between these two at Takeover. I'm hoping that that's the case.
It was weird because Tegan Nox got the win over Dakota,
and it was by her hitting Dakota with a knee brace.
Which, and then leaves. Yeah, I forgot about that. Which leaves it open for some stipulation.
Which I would think we would probably see some sort of a street fight or something like that.
Yeah, which I think with them two makes sense.
Yeah, so
a knee brace on a pole match.
God, shut up yourself. All right, so And I wrote here what is happening on 2/5/2020, which we already talked about. About potential things. Then we get Chelsea Green versus Kaden Carter. I gotta ask, what are they exactly doing with Chelsea Green?
I don't know.
I did see someone say though that this could be the beginning of her bringing in her hot mess character that she used on Impact, which we could see that could be a possibility, and that would kind of make sense why she would be,
because she might lose it.
Yeah, so if that is the case, I'm fine with this. Yeah. If not, then this has been a very questionable build of.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see where it goes. I'm gonna see what happens.
Yeah, right.
Because obviously they're building to something. It's just they're not, because she's having time. It's not like they're gonna just bury her off the top.
Yeah. And then we get to the main event match between the Bruiserweights versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. This match was amazing.
As expected.
As expected. I'm just continuing to be huge fans of both Riddle and of Pete Dunne. This got about 15 or 20 minutes here. I didn't know it was too bad. They did not do an overrun here because I believe after this was the second season of Miz and Mrs. and supposedly USA no longer wants NXT doing.
I didn't know this because I watched it. I watched it on DVR, so I once it's on DVR, I don't know.
Right. But
anywho, yeah.
But anyways, at the match, just I don't know what else to say about this. A really fun match.
Delivered as expected.
The Bruiserweights win, which they are now the Dusty Cup. They are the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and they will earn a tag team title shot against the Undisputed Era at NXT TakeOver Portland. And Matt, taking a look at this card right now, these are the 4 confirmed matches right now. For the NXT World Title, we have Adam Cole versus Tommaso Ciampa. For the NXT North American Title, we have assumably Keith Lee versus Dominic Dijakovic. For the NXT Tag Team Titles, we have the Undisputed Era versus the Bruiserweights, and for the NXT Women's Championship, we have Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. Holy hell! There is no reason why this show will not be sensational. Could be arguably one of the best takeovers of all time, which is saying something.
I feel like most of the time we say it every year.
Just every single takeover, it just seems it's getting better and better, man. These shows are cannot miss. They just are just so fun to watch, and I'm very interested to see who they book as a 5th match. Do they go with Dakota Kai versus Tegan Knox, or do they go with the Cruiserweight title match on that card as well? But we should find that out by next week. But it's time of that moment of the podcast where Matt gives us the funny moment of the week. So Matt,
I don't know if it's so much funny as almost aggravating, but could be funny too. So, you know what day's coming up soon? What holiday?
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day, right? And you know what happens with Groundhog Day? Punxsutawney Phil comes out.
Is it about people not wanting Punxsutawney, or about people wanting Punxsutawney Phil to retire?
You know what? Just take my segment away from me.
Yeah. I just saw something right there.
Yeah, just you know what? Just stole the punchline.
Okay.
Stole the build up.
I read that before I came over, so
why even have the segment anymore? So anywho, Oh.
Sorry, buddy.
Touch me in the morning and walk away.
Okay. Well, so much for that funny moment of the week.
But that wasn't funny. But let me finish the story.
Okay.
So apparently one of the leaders, the leader of PETA, thinks this groundhog, Punxsutawney Phil, undergoes great stress every year on Groundhog Day. Because, yes, great stress once a freaking year, come out of your house and get holed up and look and then go back in. That is the life. Yeah. So apparently he should be a break and should retire. And guys, this was posted on PETA's website. They say, Peter tweeted out, Times change, traditions evolve. It's way overdue for long-suffering Punxsutawney Phil to be retired. We sent a letter to Punxsutawney Groundhog Club president asking him to use a AI groundhog, an AI, artificial intelligence groundhog, that can actually predict the weather. So you're pretty much saying a meteorologist or a computer model. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
So you're going to have a robot. You bring on a robot, and it goes, "It will be warm. Winter is dead. See you next year."
Good. And the Pens just scored. Good.
Against Crosby. Excellent. Yeah. If anybody cares.
Crosby is God. But
another quote, being in close proximity to the public causes these animals great stress. Newkirk adds, who's Newkirk? So some of the ads, I'm not going to find it. Then when Phil was dragged out of his hole and held up to the lights and crowds, he has no idea what is happening. Well, when I leave to go to work, I don't think my dog knows what's happening. It's not a kind of life for these animals. What do you do? Yeah, he suggested animatronic groundhog with artificial intelligence. The tech-savvy Phil would actually be able to predict the weather. Listen to the freaking meteorologist.
Nah.
That people don't actually know what's happened, instead of freaking an actual groundhog that holds up and can you see a shadow? Well, of course he can. You have 50,000 lights. This is a dumb tradition that I don't know why people get drunk early in the morning and stand out there in the freezing cold. We're not this year because it's warm, and wait for some old geezer to pull a groundhog out of a fake stump and lift them up, and then that's it. No, it's stupid.
Are you
I
mad,
hate
bro?
it. What?
Are you mad, bro?
I'm mad online.
Matt is mad online, and I think that is a good note to end on.
All right. By creating an AI Phil, you can keep Punxsutawney at the center of Groundhog Day, but in a much more progressive way. You know.
Yes, Matt. We get
Screw you, PETA.
We get it. All right. So this has been a very long podcast, and I think it's about time that we end on a good note. So for Matt and John, as you guys well know, subscribe to our podcast, like the video, share the video. Stay tuned for
hit that AI like button.
Hit that AI like button. And ring that bell to know when future videos come out.
And follow us at Twitter at MJ Make a Podcast.
You heard the man. So for Matt, for John, we shall see you guys next week. Take it easy.